So we're doing a bit of a bumble around now. I've just been seeing some amazing bird life already. If we just have a look right here, we got some Egyptian geese just to the right here, and just above where they're walking now, we got a bird of prey. Got some kind of eagle. It looks like a Wahlberg's just from this distance. There he goes. I'll have a look now with my binoculars. Hopefully he gives us some time. Come on, buddy, take a seat. Very, very, very good camera work going on here. I'm thoroughly impressed. Ooh, that was almost a hit and miss. Come on, buddy, you're going to show yourself to us. There we go. I'm gonna try and have a look. It's a little bit far even with the binoculars, but just looking at that smile, it looks like a Wahlberg's eagle. And I do know you guys have a breeding pair around this area, which I'm sure you guys actually know more about than me. But that looks like a Wahlberg's, a dark morph of a Wahlberg's eagle. There we go, that head there. Not a very big eagle, one of the smaller ones, but they are very, very, very interesting hunters because they're not so massive in size like our bigger eagles, like our martial eagles, our snake eagles. These Wahlbergs, they actually, I have seen personally how they take birds out of the air, which obviously takes a lot of agility and skill to do. So they do have their advantages to being a little bit smaller. They are extremely agile and they move around. So they'll also now, as the sun is going down, obviously your bigger birds, your eagles, your vultures and things like that, they actually do enjoy the heat. They'll take those heat thermals going all the way up, and then they can start searching around for food, anything they're looking for. Whereas obviously your animals are trying to take it as easy as possible. You'll often see actually a very good birding day is when it's overcast and cool, a little bit like it was this morning, because like I've just explained, they'll normally be sitting around just kind of waiting for the heat. It's pointless trying to flap away, getting up 500 meters in the air when it's extremely cold and there's no heat thermals for them to catch. So what we're going to do is, we are starting to lose a bit of sun here, and I might still want to go pop by those lions and see if they're going to start feeding on that buffalo. I just want to go pop by the Djuma dam here, which I don't think I've actually been to before, so I'm quite excited about that, and see if there's any activity down there. It is a good time of the day for animals to go have a sip of water as the sun is going down, and then kind of find the area for the evening where they hopefully will be safe if they are something that can be preyed upon, or if they can go hunting if they are actually the predator looking for what they want to get. There's actually a nice little water source just to the right here, and I'm sure that's why the Egyptian geese are hanging around. Birds that we have, these Egyptian geese, they actually can be seen as pests sometimes because they're so big and powerful. They often take over other birds' nests, such as some of our big owls, even your Veros eagle owl, also known as your giant eagle owl, often take over hummerkop nests. I'm not sure if you guys all know what these birds are that I'm mentioning, but it's basically birds that make quite big nests, and then these Egyptian geese will go and kind of take it over and sit on the top. Don't get confused by the name Egyptian geese. Just because they got the name Egyptian doesn't mean they are migrating birds going to Egypt and back quite a distance. They are just, I think it's got something to do with actually the colors of the feathers. They got quite nice colors going through there. Not 100% sure, but I do know they do not migrate to Egypt. Cindy from Hong Kong, lovely, lovely, lovely to hear from you. I believe I guide you at Lakumbi. It does ring a bell. I obviously have worked with hundreds and hundreds of different guests, but what a nice surprise, and thank you for tuning into the show. Absolutely awesome to hear from you, and I hope you are doing very well there in Hong Kong, and I do hope you're going to come visit us down here in South Africa again to see some of the wildlife we have having around here. Thanks again, Cindy. Very nice to hear from you, and maybe we'll have a little chat on Facebook later, have a bit of a giggle. So funny, never know, small world how you bump into people again, eh? Alrighty, let's see what wants to show themselves to us. I can almost guarantee you guys we will see Impala before we get back to the lions over there. I'm a man with promises. Hopefully I can deliver. Ooh, look what we have right here. See, too much chatting, too little looking. Look at that, guys. Some beautiful elephants right here on the road. You see, now this is the type of traffic I particularly love. Not the ones you find in Johannesburg and Cape Town, our two biggest cities. This is my kind of traffic. Some elephants standing right in the road, blocking our way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go a bit more forward. We don't want to disturb him too much. I'm just going to pop up here to the right so you guys can have a nice clear view there. There we go. Hey boy, have you come to say hello to me? I know you heard what I said earlier. You guys are my favorite. Just enjoying the nice fresh leaves here. Obviously all your mass grazers, as we call them, that needs to eat plenty, is just loving it at the moment. There's just so much greenage around here. It's even making me extremely happy. That's looking actually very tasty right there. Hey buddy. You can just see it on their face. I always say you can tell an elephant's emotion from the eye. Just look how big and happy that eye is looking. When they get angry, they kind of get more. Oh, there goes a tree. So let's see, Brian's going to quickly take us there as the sun is setting. Look at that, eh? Now that is Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Bit cliche what I'm saying here, but that is really Africa. Beautiful sunset, elephants smashing over trees, eh? So that bull that Brian is busy focusing on right now, you can't see him too well. He is hiding a little bit behind the bushes over there. There we go. He is a little bit bigger than the one we were focusing on just now. G Monster, very good question. I believe your question is how long can elephants live? Now, it's a very good question, and it isn't actually determined. Well, first of all, let me give you a bit of a time span. We're generally looking at about 60 years. They do generally, out of our bigger mammals, live the longest, but their lifespan isn't really determined by much else than their molars, their teeth. Now, just like humans, we get two sets of teeth. Obviously, you get your baby teeth, you get your adult teeth. These elephants actually go through 6 sets of molars as they go through their lifetime. Now, like I just said, they are mass feeders, so they are constantly eating away, like we see these two are doing. Whenever you see elephants, they're busy feeding, and I'm sure you guys have seen that as well. So these molars get worn down and down and down. As they get worn down, the next set starts pushing through, and then eventually, normally it's very tough to say. It depends on the vegetation where the elephant is, but normally around about the age between 35 and 45, I've found mostly before that last set of teeth starts getting worn down, and this actually links to the myth that elephants have these graveyards, because now what happens is, you can imagine if your teeth is extremely sensitive, you're kind of almost getting to the gum. Where you're going to move to get more softer eating material, you're going to move to water sources, obviously. So you're going to try and move more towards your riverine areas, to some big natural dams or things that's around, where you're generally going to find softer eating material, and that is where they normally end up, unfortunately, dying. And you can say, sadly enough, normally from starvation. The teeth is nothing more to mold down and eat what they're grabbing, and they normally end up dying of starvation. And this is what kind of leads to the myth of an elephant graveyard, because where you're going to find most of your elephant bones now is obviously along your riverine areas. So I hope that answers your question. About 60 years on average for elephant bull, or elephants in general, not just the bull. You can see he's just loving that knobthorn over there. It also actually looks like a knobthorn that got pushed over from the other side. A little bit tough. There we go. Brian's zooming out a bit for us over there. That is a very low level knobthorn, if it was one to be that height. So I can tell you guys, we'll drive past it just now once this youngster has moved on. That's the tree that got pushed over, but obviously still a couple of roots attached, because that tree, you can see, has just got some new shoots that's coming out, lime green yummy leaves for this young bull over here. So also elephants, people always say they're pushing over trees, they're doing so much damage. I like to argue that fact, because now what happens if there's an impala, or what happens when there's a kudu, some of our other browsers coming along, there's now a level of feeding they would never have been able to reach if this tree was standing up tall. Now the elephants have pushed it, especially in dry conditions like that. Boom, a new food source for our other little browsers. Now, I was mentioning a little bit earlier how elephants are mass feeders, and they do, out of all our animals here, actually eat the most. There's some books and things say they eat up to 250 kilograms of food or vegetation a day. Now 250 kilograms, guys, that is about let me do, my maths isn't very great, but that's about 4.5 of me an elephant eats per day. And I'll tell you why they eat that much. Firstly, obviously a massive animal, but secondly, they've got a very, very poor digestive system. They reckon, especially in dry times like this, only between 30 to 35% of what they eat actually gets digested. And that's why you'll actually even, there's still so much nutrition in their poo when it comes out, you'll actually even get animals. It's not a very common thing, don't get me wrong, you're not going to see animals eating elephants' poo left, right and center, but it has been seen before. Very, very poor digestive system. They obviously love marula fruits. Now for those of you who know what marula fruit is, little yellow fruit, almost very similar to a lychee. If you know what a lychee is, I'm sure you get them in the States and everywhere else. Elephants love them, I love them, baboons love them, but I've personally taken a marula fruit out of elephant dung, fresh dung, put it in my mouth and eaten it because it literally hasn't digested whatsoever. So not the best of digestive systems. Also another little visual fact that the elephant is giving us over there. This is what I love about nature, guys. It's just, you just watch these animals and they basically teach you by just watching them. So what I want you guys to watch now, come on, are you gonna do it for us, boy? Just keep an eye as we keep watching this bull. What they often do is they'll grab a branch with a trunk and then they use those tusks. That's what the tusks are there for. It's not just for fighting. It actually, very little is used for fighting. It's more for feeding. So they look at those beautiful tusks. You can see how much it's been worn out and been used. What they'll do is they take the trunk, grab a little piece, put it there. He's gonna do it over the tusk, boom, and snaps it. There we go. Look again, come on, there we go. Not the best of examples, but I'm sure you guys are getting the idea. So guys, we're gonna see if this bull maybe moves on. Well, he's just got a fresh marula, knobthorn tree there. I don't know if he's going to move on too shortly, but I'm going to head back over to James and we'll go see what he's up to. I do believe he could still possibly be with the leopard, so something to look forward to. And I believe he's eating a steenbok there. Lucky you guys. I kind of wish I was there as well. No complaints though. I always love seeing these magnificent elephants. I'll be back with you guys in a sec.
There is a leaf with some spiders in it and the inimitable shadow as the sun goes down. A fantastic sighting. David and I have been having a marvellous time with her. She's put her kill in a fallen down marula tree over there. We can just have a quick look, Dave. In there, rather pathetic place to put it. I would hardly call it a hoist. In fact, I think a hyena could walk up there in seconds. Anyway, that's where she's put it. She's made a half-hearted attempt. Now she's just sitting there breathing very heavily. She's very full. Are you happy at this angle, David? There's a lot of machine gun fire coming from the other side. Do you think they've got a good picture? I think this is as good as we'll get. David reckons this is as good as we'll get. Yeah, now, We called her little cub Zara, or I did, simply because, of course, we called George and Charlotte. We called Hosanna and Shongile George and Charlotte. And Roger, you're wondering if Zara is no longer with us. I don't think Zara's with us. We're 99% sure that leopard is long dead, I'm afraid, on account of the fact that she was seen mating with Tingana many, many times. She could even be pregnant again. She's not lactating at all. Well, obviously she wouldn't be, because Zara would be 8 months old. And we haven't seen her for, I don't know, what is it, probably 2 or 3 months. So we're pretty sure that Zara is no longer. James, you're wondering about whether or not Shadow has mated with any other males other than Tingana. Not that I know of, James. I don't think she's been seen mating with any other leopards. And it's quite interesting. I think she has, certainly before she had Zara, I think she mated with Anderson and Tingana. Now, the Anderson male, of course, is the biggest male leopard that we get around here. And he has been, he was seen, or he is seen in the far west of Arathusa normally, and so he's kind of, his territory, it's interesting, his territory doesn't actually encompass hers. Her territory is still in Tingana's territory, but it's not unusual for female leopards to go out of their territories in order to try and mate with other male. Now, just take a break from the leopard for me to tell you that on the one vehicle there's probably about, what should we say, $100,000 worth of equipment, of camera equipment. Then on the other vehicle that's come in, I just see somebody there with a tiny little point and shoot camera, and it must make her feel slightly, I guess, well, one of them is actually using a cell phone, which of course is a wonderful way to take pictures of your safari, unless you're sitting next to somebody with a 600mm lens. I haven't taken my camera out here. I'm too embarrassed. Oh, she's gorgeous. David, I know you like the backlight, but do you want to try the other way?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to try and get round the other side, everyone, so we can get her lit by the golden sun. But I quite like the way Davy likes the backlighting, I must say. I think it looks very nice indeed. She will, of course, roll over almost immediately we get to the other side. Watch out there, Dave. We don't have a spare tyre, of course, so we can't really afford to take too many chances. Well, Bethany, you ask a very good question. We'll just stop here and have one. No, we won't. We're going to keep going around. Bethany, you're wondering about whether or not Shadow could be pushed from her territory. Good afternoon. And yes, she could be pushed from her territory. It's unlikely, though. I know that everyone's thinking, where will Shongile set up home when she eventually goes independent? And I think the most unoccupied female territories in the northern part of Karula's territories, I think that's probably where it will be. But I don't think Shadow's not old. She's perfectly young enough to have a territory of her own still. David, again, I must ask you, don't say hi ever, don't ever do anything for you. Beautiful, stunning, magnificent. Now people are staring at me, everybody, because they think I'm mad, they think I'm talking to myself. But I don't mind, everyone, as long as I'm talking to you. You don't think I'm mad, do you? No. Beautiful. Now, Monique, you're in London and wondering whether I think Shadow could be pregnant again. And Monique, I absolutely do, you know. I think, I think she could easily be pregnant again. In fact, I think it's quite likely. Oh, this is brilliant. Christopher is having a gem of an afternoon. He's got 2 larger cats, the gangsters of the bush.
Now, I'm sure everybody can agree with me that we are just having an absolutely magnificent afternoon from cat to cat to cat to cat. I believe you guys just had an amazing sighting there with the leopards, and we are back to completely different lines, not actually too far away from where the other ones were at. Sure, we're still going to probably go make a turn over there, but as we're stumbling around, we came across this nice big male lion over there and one lioness, just kind of really taking life easy. Lion in, as I said earlier, ha ha ha. Chris is full of jokes. Belly's in the air, look at that, beautiful. Now that is what we basically call the almost fully matured lion. You can see that mane very, very big. We're going to get a bit of a zoom in there. Not a very, very dark mane compared to what I've seen before, but a very nice, big and decent mane already. If I have to predict his age, I obviously got no idea what his age is, but probably anything close to about 7 years or so. Not very dark yet. But of course that is genetical as well. Some lions almost never get a dark mane, so I'm not too sure. But he's definitely probably past the age of 5, 6, going on 7 to 8. Your male lions don't actually live extremely long, and it is because there's actually quite a lot of fighting that they go through in order to have a beautiful lady like that lying next to them. They normally average anything between 8 and 12 years. So yeah, 10 years if a big male lion lives, 10, 11 years, that's a good age. Look at him, he's kind of looking at me saying, what you saying? I'm going to go 15 years. Robbie, I'm almost confident this is Robin MacDonald or Robin Morris. I'm not too sure, but if it's from Hoedspruit, probably Robin MacDonald. And thank you to announcing it to the rest of the world out here. I am in fact what they call the Danger Ranger in the Hoedspruit area. My brother actually made me my whole own shirt for my birthday, and it became an official thing. So where did I get the name from, Danger Ranger? And Robin, I assume you're asking because I don't think I've ever actually told you. It actually came from a good friend of mine, Craig Reed, which I'm sure you are very familiar with and know as well. He's currently sitting in Dubai, and I do hope you are watching me as well, seeing as I'm now going famous with the name Mr. Craig. Basically, it's nothing to do with me being dangerous, or is it? I'm not too sure. I'm not going to tell you guys the full story, but they call me Danger Ranger. That is my name. I've actually got a hashtag Danger Ranger with me riding elephants, kind of crawling under lions, things like that. That's where I got the name from. I'm just kidding, guys. It's not that at all. It's basically just a quote that came from one of my very good mates that I was fortunate enough to work with down in the south of the park, and it's now kind of flooded Hoedspruit, our massive town of about 5,000 people in total. I'm now the Danger Ranger. I'm sorry I'm not wearing the shirt today. I didn't want to kind of give myself too big of a head on my first guiding experience with Wild Earth. Well, what a fun afternoon it has been, and Robin, once again, thank you for throwing it out there. Guys, and I do not want you to believe that I'm a dangerous man whatsoever, unless I have to be. So now what I'm hoping for, we're going to spend a couple more minutes here, and I'm not sure if we're going to get the result that we are looking for, but if these guys wake up, the first thing they'll probably do is obviously have a bit of a look around, see if there's nothing fancying them, what's on the menu, and then if Now what I'm hoping for, we're going to spend a couple more minutes here, and I'm not sure if we're going to get the result that we are looking for. But if these guys wake up, the first thing they'll probably do is obviously have a bit of a look around, see if there's nothing fancying them, what's on the menu, and then if not, probably just go down for a sip of water down here by the dam. It doesn't look like they're too interested on getting moving. Now, some of you guys might be asking yourselves, why is this male and this female kind of hanging out alone here on the dam wall in their honeymoon suite, overlooking basically everything. They're on a nice little enliftment here, and I cannot actually truthfully answer you that, because what you generally be thinking is maybe there's a bit of a bush romance going on here, but generally we've been maybe now 8 to 10 minutes. Normally they'll start, if they are mating, they'll mate on average about probably every 15 to 20 minutes. That male will be quite active if that's happening, and he's not looking too active to me right now, and I'm sure you guys can agree. So maybe they're just kind of breaking away from the rest of the pride. I'm not even sure if it is part of the same pride, but I'm assuming so, seeing as it's within very close proximity from each other. And other males won't normally, unless they're actually coming to take over the pride, be relaxing this close to other lions' territories. You can see if we just trying to have a look at her teats there, it doesn't look like she's lactating, no. So she's definitely not one of the mothers, obviously, of one of those youngsters we saw earlier. And I'm not just saying that because she's lying here alone. I'm just trying to, someone was trying to tell me something here, sorry about that. So yeah, like I was saying, in the instance of female having cubs, it's not always that they're going to be with those cubs. So I just want to clear that up. You can often have a lioness like this, even if she is the mother that is lying around. You can often have her away, and this is the spectacular thing about lions and them being so social. She will actually leave her sister or cousin or whoever's in the pride of age and experience with her youngsters if she needs to go out hunting or maybe just lazing around like she's doing now. But I'm pretty confident she's not one of the mothers, because it doesn't look like she's lactating. I hear everybody out there is guessing or maybe advising, because maybe you know more than me about these lions. So keep it going and maybe we can work out what is going on here. So we just had a comment from Safari Jenny saying that this is the youngest female from this pride, Nkuhuma pride. So she's maybe just kind of taking it easy with Big Papa over here, or maybe there is a bit of bush romance that's starting to brew up there. Obviously, if she is an estrus, that's going to attract Big Daddy over there, and he's going to basically be following her around most of the way if he's wanting to mate and get involved over there. So very possible. So thank you for that comment. If she is one of the younger ones, we'll have a look back there. Now again, you can normally easily identify it with the spots on the hind legs and even just on the forelegs. You can often see that and kind of work out what their age is. They normally start losing, let's have a look, they normally start losing those spots after about 2.5 years, and you can see in fact there is still a slight bit of spots. If you look there at her front legs, just kind of in front of the face, there's a couple of spots that's still shown there. So thank you for that comment, Safari Jane. She does look like a youngster. Very good observation there. Alrighty guys, I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave these two in peace. Maybe leave them to their bush romance that's going on there. I'm sure they would like a bit of privacy in case things are happening, if the sparks are flying. So what we're going to do is we're going to bumble back towards the other lions there, and then we'll quickly see if they may be feeding on that buffalo, having some dinner just before we have to get back and have some dinner. Alrighty, let's get out of here. Thank you, you two. That was beautiful. Very nice surprise. Jean, I've got a question from you. Have I ever seen an animal in the bush giving birth? I have been fortunate enough to actually see that, and it actually leads to another dramatic event that I saw. I've seen impalas give birth a couple of times actually in my career and lifetime just growing up in the bush. And of course some of your predators, especially your smaller ones like your black-backed jackals and even your young hyenas and things like that, will take complete advantage of situations such as these. Obviously, straight after birth, the animal is not at its greatest strength, although it is amazing with things like impalas. It's about 30 seconds and that young impala can be up and running to get away from danger. But things like your jackals take advantage, and that's exactly what I saw. And this was actually, where was it? It was either Serengeti or Masai Mara where we saw this, where they actually went and took a baby impala as she was giving birth. I'll tell you what, there is a whole load more births that I wish I can see. Something like giraffe, just kind of like dropping 2 meters, welcome to earth, and then kind of stumbling up, getting to their feet. Elephant birth is something I'll give my front teeth to see. I actually have a good friend, Liam, he's seen it before. Very, very jealous for that fact. But yeah, just once again, the fact remains, the more time you spend out here, the bigger the probability of seeing something like that. Laura, you are asking me what's my favorite bush flower, and that's a very easy answer for me. It's an Impala lily. It is very, very beautiful. It's kind of starts off with a bit of pink and then normally a bit of white around the edges. Very, very, very beautiful flower. Impala lily, if you're not sure what it looks like, just hop on Google. I'm sure there's lots of pictures that will pop up there for you. There's just impalas everywhere around these plains here. Quite a typical thing for impalas to do as we go along. Let me quickly just take a stop here. I know time is passing by, but just look at those numbers. They are absolutely everywhere. And like I say, quite a typical thing for this time of the day, because what do they want to do? They are now going from having a lovely stroll around during the day into the evening, becoming potential prey for something like those lions that is not even 200 meters, 200 yards back. So they want to kind of head to these open areas in great numbers. This is not one herd that Brian is moving through now. This is going to be a couple of herds together, but they come together, safety in numbers, extra eyes, extra ears on these open plains so they can see danger basically coming from a long way out. So that also brings me to the point of how they sleep. They don't all go and sleep at the same time. They'll kind of do it in shifts, almost like if I go sleep out in the bush with some of my friends without any defense mechanism, without any barriers, we just go and plonk down in the middle of a riverbed. We at least make sure one of us is awake the whole time to kind of spot danger. So the same concept. Just look at this beautiful landscape that we're going through. There's just nothing like a nice African sunset, is there? If you actually, there we go. Guys, so I'm going to leave you with this beautiful scene of this sun setting, and I'm going to get you guys back in touch there with James, and I believe he is still with the leopard. So let's have a look what's going on there.
That's what's going on here, everybody. Mr. Shadow, seems to have somehow conjured a light from the heavens. You see that, everyone? It's amazing. It is, of course, a spotlight on her from the vehicle next to us. And I don't think we're going to watch her once the light's faded. I think we'll head on and see what else we can find in the darkness as it falls. She's given us a wonderful time, so I think we'll just probably move out of here in the next 5 minutes or so. I just want to see if she perhaps goes up to fetch her little Impala lamb. So just to reconfirm, I don't know if I told you this, but I think the kill that she had is an Impala lamb. I don't think it's a steenbok. And I think that because of the colour of the pelage or the fur. And I wonder if she didn't kill the adult and then have that stolen in much the same way that Karula did that a few days back. She's got very lengthy whiskers, you know, and interestingly, how's this? The only other leopard I've seen with whiskers that lengthy are her sons. Sindile has got wonderfully long whiskers like that. Now, just quickly, while I remember, she's a 3-4 female in the same way that her mother is 3-4 female. She's got 3 spots there over the whiskers. Oh, and then 4 on the other side. And Tina, that dovetails nicely with your question about what would happen if the two of them met. They do meet from time to time. Last time they met, I think Shadow blew spit bubbles at her mother, which is disgusting, and nobody should ever do that to their mother. But they would have a kind of small territorial spat. It wouldn't be serious. There would be no physical contact. But they'd have a bit of a standoff. Sometimes they'd share a kill. But I think at this stage, you know, it's been so long since Shadow left home, 9 years or so. No, not 9, 7 years or so. That I think it's highly unlikely that they would share a kill at this stage. But it does happen from time to time. And I mean, the best story that I've ever heard of a leopardess meeting her daughter was when the 3-4 female of Londolozi met up with a... quickly, sorry, I'll tell you the story later. We've got some unusual canids with Christopher.
Righty guys, well whilst we were on our way back to this crime scene over here with the lions, we've just come across a black-backed jackal, but he's kind of getting his bum in gear and getting a move on, because obviously those lions are probably coming back to the carcass. You can see him just there down the road. I'm going to try and stop now and we can get a bit of a clear view, but he's really getting a move on there. Very, very beautiful animal actually, very similar to a fox, as most of you guys will know. There we go. Come on, buddy. Relax. Hey, relax. You're far away now. Let's quickly try. I want to get you guys a little bit of a better view there. Just been told it's not something you guys see too much out here. And that's obviously because of the high predation and hyenas and everything that's around. Let's just see if we can quickly get a second look over here. There he is, right in front. There we go. Assuming he's going to calm down a little bit now that he's a bit of a distance away. There we go. Well, there we go, folks. A black-backed jackal. Unfortunately, a little bit of mange. If you look at the tail there, a bit of hair loss. But what an awesome sighting. You can see it's a male. If you look just below the tail there, it's very obvious. You can see how he's itching. Shame. I feel very sorry for these animals. You know, mange is basically a mite that goes and gets either into follicles of the hair or under the skin. It must be very, very annoying. So these guys, your black-backed jackals, they're obviously mainly scavengers, but don't get me wrong, I just told you a story about how they took a young Impala. And also very often one of the photographers of the year photos that got taken and went into the book for Africa Geographic was one of these guys, a black-backed jackal, taking a Franklin. What are you smelling there, buddy? So yeah, they're mainly scavengers. Oh, you know what he's looking for there? I can almost guarantee you he's looking for beetles. So it's some old elephant dung probably over there, old elephant poo, and he's digging around. Obviously dung beetles are going to utilize that, and he knows this. Very clever little guy. He's digging around there trying to find maybe a beetle or two. Let me try this pile of poo. Trying to see if we can pick up some movement. And you can very clearly see where they get that name from. Just look at that beautiful black back. Now, if they don't have mange, I don't want to say more beautiful, because this is an absolutely stunning little creature, but it becomes almost more clear, that back, and kind of the contrast from that kind of rustic type of color to that black back with the white highlights. Beautiful, beautiful creature. Very similar to a fox, I'm sure all of you will agree. Are you going to be able to get your beetle, buddy? Because obviously those lions aren't very sharing. You got chased away straight away. We just missed that, I'm sure. See, he's almost using a bit of a hunting technique there, looking for a bit of movement, have a scratch. If I was you, I'd just start scratching everywhere. There must be a beetle somewhere hidden around there. There we go. Come on. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I was going to show you guys a kill now on day number 1, but unfortunately not. Ooh, look there look in the background now. That is an awesome, awesome bird there as well, guys. That is a black-bellied korhaan. Look at that beautiful black belly over there. Quite a big bird. Look at him compared to the size of that jackal. Oh, sorry, the name has actually changed. I want to correct myself. I'm going to double check myself in the book as well. But I think it's gone from a blackberry korhaan to a blackberry bustard. I just want to double check here for you guys. Obviously don't want to give you the wrong information. Blackberry bustard. There we go. Shame, this guy is very, very itchy. You sometimes feel sorry for these animals and you just want to kind of hop off the vehicle and give them a bit of a scratch. Obviously we can't do that. We don't want to interfere with nature and what's going on out here. The best is just to let wildlife kind of take a stroll and, you know, get along with it. Oh, this guy is giving us an amazing show now. See how those fork-tailed drongos over there are just, I'm not sure if you guys can hear it as well as me. They're kind of doing a mobbing display onto that jackal, just trying to scare it, saying, get out of here, don't want you wandering around. If we just go to the top left of that knob thorn over there, you'll see the fork-tailed drongo still screaming and shouting. Quite an easy bird to identify. You can see that very clear fork in the tail. Absolutely successful birds in this area. They're actually excellent at mimicking other calls of birds, which obviously helps them a huge amount in terms of trying to get things or trying to make alarm calls, even making sounds like mongoose and things like that. Quite fascinating. Also, a good technique that they often use is they'll actually follow other animals, big animals especially, like your giraffes and your buffalo and elephants. And first of all, these animals do have flies and things following them, so they'll grab that. But not just that, they're also the insects that get scared, as let's say the elephant is busy feeding on a bush, they'll go down and grab that. So very, very intelligent little guy. Alrighty guys, let us get out of here. That was an awesome sighting. I'm sure you guys would all agree with me on that beautiful black-backed jackal. From here we're going to go back to those lines. I think I'm getting a question through from Monique in London. Monique in London, alrighty. Your question is, how big is a jackal? If we're working with centimeters here, I'll first give you a bit of a shoulder height there. I think it's about a 28 centimeter shoulder height, 20 to 30, so not a massively, we're talking about a ruler size, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 35 centimeters to be precise. Compared to, let's say, a domestic dog, I'll say a Staffy Terrier. If you guys do get those dogs there, I hope I'm not confusing anyone right now. Sorry, let me just quickly get this vehicle to pass. Sure, Malume, are you? Good, good. And Gala's still there? Lalapanzi?
Yeah, then Gala's gone.
They famba?
I chase him.
You chase them?
Yeah.
Ah, but
But he's not always.
they kujaing there or not?
No, Lala.
Lala's team?
Lazy boy, lazy girl. Just Lala.
Okay. Cheers, my brother. Have a good one. Enjoy. Cheers, guys. Can you get past there?
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, Makulu card.
Makulu Mova. He's just mentioning how much bigger his vehicle is than mine, so making him a bit jealous there. This little guy that I'm driving, Mr. Rusty, goes just about anywhere. Let's go have a quick look at these lines. Monique from London, I hope I answered your question. I am actually not that good with dogs, so for me to compare it to a dog, I don't know if you know what a Staffy Terrier is. It's quite a stocky dog. Obviously the jackal isn't that stocky, but the height, I'd say, is about similar. Alrighty, so we're getting into lion territory here. I'll keep my eyes open. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna put you back over to James whilst I have a look for these lions. They've possibly moved on or maybe gone to that kill. I'll have a look now, I'll have an update for you as we get back, but for now let's go to James with the leopard, see what he's up to.
I'm not sure I'll look for the lions, but we will head back down there. What we've done is left Shadow, everybody. She was fast asleep, and well, it's not good to watch a beautiful leopard snoring, is it? It's kind of it's like watching them blow spit bubbles. It kind of takes it lessens their beauty. Right, we're going to go past the gate and then back down the Biffles cut line and towards where those lions were, and hopefully they will have got up to move, and we'll see what we can find. This has been the most glorious afternoon. We shall look off to the western horizon. There we go, David. Is that not beautiful? Yes. Now, of course, we're only able to do this on the move because of this fancy camera that we have. It is a little bit shaky, so do try not to get seasick. Isn't that gorgeous? Take a deep breath in, everybody. And breathe out, and you'll smell the dust, the little bit of petrichor. One or two wood fires starting up in the community outside the gate, which is such a comforting smell. Marvellous. David's aftershave, very expensive. I'm not even sure if he wears aftershave. Hello Tucker, you're just 4 years old. You want to know if I like campfires. I love campfires, Tucker, especially in the winter. But you know, we don't really have campfires at this time of the year because it's so very hot. So we normally just sit under the stars, which is very nice indeed. And sometimes if it's a really chilly night, maybe after some rain, then we'll have a campfire. But otherwise we don't have campfires until the winter, Tucker. But a winter night around a campfire is just the best. Now we're going to go past the authorities here of the Sabi Sant. In fact, I found the real authority of the Sabi Sant right here. I think we might take a look. Hello. Look, he's got a hole in his ear, David. Do you think it's hole in the ear? Oh, it is actually. It is. It is hole in the ear elephant. Now, this elephant, everybody, yeah, we know quite well. David especially. David, he got quite close to you, didn't he?
Oh,
And he wasn't quite as polite as the elephant we saw last time.
oh no.
Yeah. Now, this elephant, apparently, his name is Daryl, according to Taylor. Taylor is, of course, mad, so I'm not sure why his name is Daryl, but he's noticeable. You will notice I'm not getting any closer to him. He is notable by the fact that he has a hole in his left ear that looks like one of the ghosts from Pac-Man. You remember that? Or from Snapchat, apparently. That, of course, is much too modern for me. It could be a bell, I suppose, as well. But this fellow likes to spend time pretty much on the bonnet of various cars. And David and Scott had an experience with him last year where he, first of all, put his trunk onto the bonnet of this very car, Jigger. That's why Jigger's quivering slightly. You'll see. That's Jigger shivering in fear. And then, that is so dumb. And then he went down to Treehouse Dam to have a look and see what was going on there. And this elephant came up and rubbed his muddy body all over the car, and it really was quite hairy. Anyway, as the darkness falls, I think we'll leave Ghostbuster here, aka Daryl the elephant. Taylor, why on earth is this animal called Daryl? That's ridiculous. I'll find out from Taylor why he's called Daryl. Christopher is back with the lions. We'll see if we can find the others.
Alrighty, so whilst you guys have all been watching the beautiful sunset and just taking in the sounds of nature, most of the birds, even where I'm sitting now, most of your franklins and things, kind of starting to announce the area for the evening. We've been watching these lions kind of in the exact same spot. I don't think any one of them has really gone over to have a bit of a bite or a bit of a chew there on the buffalo. And that's just nature for you guys. You can't tell nature what to do. These animals do what they want. They're obviously stuffed to the brim and just taking it easy. It is in fact very, very tough for these lions to digest. You can think they're eating raw meat. I mean, by the dozens, loads of raw meat and then bone and everything. So for them to digest that is a little bit easier than for us to digest like a bowl of muesli, you know. So I'm sure we'll also be lying with our bellies in the air after eating 2 kgs of meat and some bone. So I'm going to start quieting down a bit now, and we can just really, these last couple of minutes, take in this absolute beautiful sight that we have here. Just lions left, right and center, from 2 months to probably 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. I'm not exactly sure how old these females are. Just absolute treat to have this right here where we're living. Something got her attention. She's kind of just having a look at her now. Had a bit of a stretch there. Oh, you can just see in those eyes. Look at those eyes. They're very kind of lazy eyes there. But this is kind of their time to start waking up now. Having a look around. No, Chris, it's not. It's not their time. See the youngster there on the right hand side just kind of rolling over. Like I said earlier, mentioned earlier, these youngsters are always the active little ones, rolling around doing it. There, going over mommy. Very cute. Very, very, very cute. Ooh, little yawn there. Isn't that just too cute, eh? It's kind of like Pride Rock, just kind of overlooking the African bushveld, but rather on Mom's belly, eh? Look at that. Bit of interaction. Zelda, got a question from you. We're going to have to double check on this as well, but I do believe it's something between 5 and 6 or 5 and 7 kilometers, so quite a distance. So that's often, it does kind of mislead guides, and it has misled me before as well. When you hear a lion roaring, it's so loud, it sounds like it's right around the corner, but in fact it's probably 2 kilometers or something away. So yeah, I reckon about 5 kilometers, and I do hope that I am correct. Okay, so we got a question through here from Tina, from all the way from Canada. Good to hear from you. And your question is, are there any males around at the moment? And like I said before, this is kind of like a typical pride as we speak about just lionesses and youngsters, but I'm almost 100% sure out of a litter of 8 there must be a couple of males in there, but obviously not Big Daddy with his mane. If you've been watching a bit earlier, Tina, you would have seen we actually came across a big male and another lioness on a dam wall over there, and I'm pretty sure just because they're so close to each other that male kind of belongs to this pride, or the pride kind of belongs to that male. But at this very moment, no big males around, no sub-adult males around, maybe just a couple of cubs. So everybody, this is probably the last look we're going to have at this beautiful pride of lions, as they're just kind of taking it easy. I'm sure we can actually find them in this area tomorrow, but we're going to say goodnight to this beautiful little pride over here. We're going to wish them all the best for the night. They're probably not going to have too much work to do, probably just going to go have a bit of a meal there, try and protect their kill, and take it as easy as possible. We're going to go back to James. We believe he's got a big creature somewhere in the water, or possibly not in the water, seeing it as this time of the day. Let's see what James has got.
This hippopotamus nearly died of old age during that link. Anyway, here's a hippo, everybody, who is now going back to the water from whence he came. I'll just quickly give you a little show of him with a spotlight. He's nocturnal, so we can put a spotlight on him. And that's him. Anyway, nice to see. Now, we're going down Mvubu Road, which of course appropriately means Hippopotamus Road in Zulu, not Shangaan, although the people who named it will tell you otherwise. And we're going to go and see if we can't find those 2 lions that were on the dam wall. On the dam wall. Yes. Apparently they're still there. And let's see if we can get there before they get up and move. And I'd love you to tell me, everybody, hashtags for live questions at WildEarthTV, if you know which lioness that is. Is it Amber Eyes? It's the youngest one, okay. With Mfumo, the authority, he who managed to fight off the maggot infestation, that's why he's called Authority. It's not really why he's called Authority. It's just because he has an authoritative demeanor. A bit like that elephant today. He had a very authoritative demeanor, didn't he, David? Yes. He was very mfumoish. He certainly made me feel very unauthoritative. We'll just quickly, don't want to do this while we're driving because I think it will be a little bit of a challenge. But just look at the moon quickly, if you wouldn't mind. The sickle moon. Ugh. What to tell you. It's just too wonderful, and you can see the outline of the moon there. Yeah. How does the song go, David? I saw the crescent. You saw the whole of the moon. You saw the whole of the moon. I think it was the Water Boys who sang that. And then off to the left of the moon is, of course, the... must be Venus. Is it Venus? I don't think it is. It's too high. It might be Venus. I don't know. Kirsten wants me to sing the song to you. It goes like this, Kirsten. It goes... I think I know just that line. You saw the whole of the moon. It's actually quite a nice song. You should check it out. The Water Boys. Thank you, everybody. Apparently that was beautiful. That, of course, is from the most sarcastic person in the Sabi Sand, the second most sarcastic person in the Sabi Sand. I'm number one. David says, who's number one? Good grief. No, Kirsten, you're not number one, you are number two. Now, nearly at the dam. Let's drive a little bit quicker. I always get a little bit sad when I drive past here, of course, because this was the turn off to our hyena den, and our hyenas, of course, have forsaken us for the plains of the Manyeleti, and hopefully the rain will bring them down here, perhaps, and we'll have another den site on Djuma. I really do miss seeing them, and I know that many of you do too. And I imagine that the hyena group, a wonderful Facebook group set up on Facebook, obviously, because it's a Facebook group, called the Hyenas of Djuma and Arathusa, must be getting a little bit desperate without us finding any hyena dens. Anyway, if you want to see about our hyenas, go and check that Facebook group out. It really is rather nice. You've got all the identifying marks of our hyena clan, which has absconded. Oh, I must take my spotlight out in case I can find a chameleon. David, would you like to see another chameleon? Yes, because we saw the first one of the season, didn't we? Yes, we did. Very clever of us. Especially as me old pal Baron drove straight past it. Wow. Hello, Victor. You say you were lucky enough to visit the Sabi Sands earlier this year, and you're going off to the Eastern Cape, I think next year or later this year. And you say, can you hope to see something different there? It just depends where you go, Victor. I'm assuming you're going to a wildlife destination there. I'd love to know. I'll tell you what, why don't you send us another... Something has died many moons ago in this area, and it's disgusting. Christopher, tell us where you're going, then I'll be able to tell you what you'll see. But of course, the Sabi Sand, where I live now, and the Eastern Cape, where I have home, are two of my most favourite parts of South Africa. So, Victor, yes, tell me where you're going in the Eastern Cape, and I'll be able to tell you what you'll see. You'll definitely see some different antelope. I'm not sure you'll see quite as many leopards as we get here, but you might. You'll see a completely different landscape. But that, again, depends on where you go, because the Eastern Cape's pretty big. So let us know, Victor, and I'll tell you what you can expect to see. I love hearing about people travelling to South Africa. It really is one of the most diverse tourism destinations in the world. And I read a statistic once that absolutely gobsmacked me, and that was that apparently around about 30 million people visit Paris every year. 30 million people go into Paris to see the tourist sites there every year. Fewer when at the time, it's a bit more now, but fewer than 3 million people visited the Kruger Park. Isn't that amazing? I mean, look, Paris has got a charm. There's no question about it. But I mean, this is spectacular. The lions are there, fast asleep. Now, before we go up to see the lions, we have a scrub hare over there, everybody. There he is. Hello, little scrub hare. Very happy that the spring has come, or the summer's come. Completely herbivorous, although I bet they steal the odd insect. Margaret, you say, how big is the reserve exactly, and how do we keep track of all the animals? Margaret, we don't keep track of all the animals. That's impossible, because we're part of 8.5 million acres, or 3.5 million hectares. That is the size of the Greater Kruger Park, and extending into Mozambique and north into Zimbabwe. But on the area that we traverse is about 10,000 acres or so, and that's pretty easy to keep track of the predators here, because they're territorial. Any territorial animals that we see regularly, like these massively lazy animals on the road in front of us, you can't even see them, they're so flat to the ground. Yeah, we'll put the light on. There we go. Is that all right, David? Gosh, they really are sort of pretending to be roadkill, aren't they? So, Margaret, we can keep perfect track of the leopards that we see here, because 10,000 acres isn't so big, and of course because they are territorial, so we know where they live, or round about where they live. But we don't know always how many elephants and what elephants there are here, or the buffalo, same story, or the impala. And so while they do a yearly census, they do a census count of the area, and they do it in the whole Greater Kruger Park, which gives us an idea of how many animals there are. There's inevitable inaccuracies because of the size of the area. But the predators and that sort of thing, we've got a pretty good idea in this area. David, there's an elephant coming towards us. I can just see it shaking a tree there. And we're not too far from where our friend, who we shall call Heart Thumper, was. I think that may well be him. Anyway, let's stay here for now. I think actually we're going to have one last look at these lions. They're not doing anything at all, and I think we're going to press on and see if we can see any other creatures of the night. We've had a great time with lions today, and leopards, so let's go and see. Hopefully this young lioness will be pregnant fairly soon. Oops. Hopefully she'll be pregnant fairly soon, and we'll have some more cubs, hopefully mange-free. But it is a problem, everyone, because of course, if the rest of the pride still has mange, when the new ones come along, they will inevitably get it. Let's pretend she falls pregnant tonight. The cubs will arrive 110 days later, plus minus, and then they will be kept away from the pride for 6 weeks or so. So, I mean, we're still looking at, 3 and a bit months, almost 4, so call it for 6 months before they'd be introduced to the pride. So, I think whatever mange there is will be gone by then, I hope. Let's go around this way. Retrieve my spotlight. Let's see if we can find another chameleon. But I'm pretty sure that is they're almost certainly a mating pair. We haven't seen them mating then. We haven't, just like we've seen sort of half-hearted attempts from amber eyes at mating, very little in the way of that, well, fairly vigorous stuff that goes on with the cats when they are ready to mate. There's another scrub hare which we'll drive past carefully, making sure it doesn't run in front of us. There really is a bit of a stink of rotting meat around here. Many things have been killed here recently, most of them buffalo. There's a bat, which I'm not going to ask David to try and track with the camera. Oh, Alice, this is wonderful. Alice, you're in Ohio, and I think you were Alice in Wonderland from Ohio the other day. Alice, you say, have I ever been to Ethiopia? You're going there on a medical mission. I haven't been there, and it's on my, the cliched term bucket list. I really would love to travel to Ethiopia. I think it's, from what I've read, it is the most fascinating country. I believe the people are lovely, and so yes, Ethiopia I'm desperate to go to fairly soon. Hopefully next year. I hope you have a wonderful time, Alice. I think it really does sound like the most magnificent place. Although it has been through its tough times, as has the rest of the continent, really. But that's okay. We'll get through these trials. We'll go and check by the Gallagher waterhole now, see if there's anything going on there. And I think there's a small spot of bother on Christopher's vehicle, so you're going to be stuck with me waffling away. Hopefully we'll find something of the night that we can waffle about. David, quickly find something of the night. We're getting to the stage where we have to discuss what we could see. And whenever you hear a guy doing that, David, you know that we're into desperation stakes. Well, everybody, we could see some chameleons, we could see a genet or a civet or a bush baby or maybe a badger. White-tailed mongoose is also possible, or even a genet. And then there's gory bushes. We could also see Tingana, of course. I'd love to see him. I haven't seen him for some time. Tingana to me is a fantastic leopard because he's a really kind of a no-fuss fellow. He's not particularly big. He's not small. But he has set himself up as the uber dominant of this area, and nobody's going to challenge him anytime soon. Right, Christopher and Brian have managed to sort out whatever their problem was, not with each other, I mean. Let's go and find out what it was in the next little while.
Alrighty guys, well obviously the sun's gone down, we got the spotlights out. I believe you guys just went and saw those lions we were looking at earlier, and something's caught my attention here. I'm going to just keep quiet and you just listen to that extremely loud kind of high-pitched sound that's coming from this tree right over here, but now so tough to find. I'll tell you what it is. It's a cicada bug, and they are known to be the loudest insects in the world. They're also some of the most distributed insects all around the world. There's one flying right here. Is it? I'm not too sure. It's a bit tough with the light. I'm sure you guys can hear that though. Very, very loud. Sorry, we just had a bit of problems with our camera. Out here in the bush, it's not always like driving around on the freeway. Like I'm sure most of you guys do all the time. Gets a little bit bumpy, so one of the pieces just hopped off the camera, but all sorted. Brian's got it up and running again. So let's see if we can find any cool little nocturnal creatures around as we spend our last little couple of 10 minutes or so heading back towards the lodge. We're kind of looking for our smaller cat-like species, things like genets. I do believe you get the large spotted and the small spotted here. It would be awesome to find one of those. Otherwise, things almost like looking like raccoons, your African civets, all kinds of little nocturnal creatures, obviously things like owls. Just try and see if we can spot anything. All these eyes that's kind of around is your Impala. We don't really want to blind them. Still a couple of them moving onto this open area. I believe you guys had a nice look at the moon but earlier on. Beautiful little waxing moon we got there, and a planet right next to it. Pretty sure that is Venus. I'm not sure if you guys had a look at it. Hi Rob, good to hear from you. I believe you're from New Jersey. Nice to have a call in from there. And you are asking, have I ever guided in a different country? And yes, I have. Like I said a bit earlier on, if you were watching, actually very recently, about 2 months ago, did a whole guiding trip through what we call the 9 biomes of southern Africa. And our biomes are obviously things like your grasslands, your savanna lands, etc., etc. And yeah, I was guiding as we went along, but I haven't done it for long periods of time, and I would definitely be interested, but kind of just taking it one step at a time, any opportunity that arises. Just impalas, I'm telling you guys, I don't want to shine on them and show you guys, but there's just impalas absolutely everywhere. No wonder all the cats and predators are looking so fat and healthy. Oh, hello impies. Careful for the car. Impy. Alright, I'm going to try and get us out of this maze of impala. Hopefully we get something cool, some little nocturnal creature as we're slowly moving back. Another question coming through. Thanks guys, keep them coming. Voltai, your question is, what is my favorite non-African animal? And sure, I have to actually have a bit of a think about this. I've spotted something. What's that running over there? It's just some scrub hares. So to get back to your question, you know, I can't exactly tell you. I would love to see a wolf anywhere around, but the other thing that I really would like to see is a Siberian tiger. So I do actually want to get over to that. So I really want to go to India. They do have a small population of lions down there as well, about 550 of them down in a park there, and of course tigers and leopards. So I haven't really answered your question there, but it's got to be between some form of wolf and a tiger. We have a little scrub here, little nocturnal creatures, and I'll give you a little bit of a fact. Most people talk about rabbits. Everyone knows what a rabbit is. Oh, there he goes, hopping around. Now one of the biggest, there's loads of differences between your hares and rabbits, is that rabbits live underground. It's where they seek safety. And these hares, this is a scrub hare, we get spring hares as well. They live on top of the surface, on top of the ground all the time. These guys will, during the daytime, kind of just get to a thick brushy area and hide in the bushes. They've often given me many heart attacks as I'm doing bushwalks, because what they tend to do is they tend to kind of hide, hope you don't see them, and then at some stage they decide, whoa, you're way too close now for my comfort, and they just jump out of the bush, and you kind of like get a bit shaky, because of course that could be anything else jumping out of the bush. So it's a bit of like the heart attack bird, the francolin. They do a very similar thing. Thank you, buddy. You go hopping around. Keep yourself safe from jackals. Keep yourself safe from young leopards. The young leopards normally love to take advantage of things like spring hares. Another question coming through from Monique, and you are asking me, have I ever seen an aardvark? I just want to clear things up for those of you out there that don't know what an aardvark is. It's basically an ant bear, and I have seen aardvark, very lucky, and I'm sure you're asking me the question because they're very rare to see. Highly nocturnal, quite a shy animal, but yes, Monique, I have seen aardvark, but I've only in my whole life seen, I think it's either 3 or 4 of them, decent sightings. The other ones, there has been a couple more times, but then it is literally, you can't even make out it is an aardvark. But yeah, very cool thing to look at. Most of the times, I'm sure other guides have had similar kind of experiences with aardvark, where they see the aardvark, and then next thing it just runs away. Guys, sorry to interrupt the question. Here's a genet that just ran here. I'm just trying to spot him again. Just give me 1 second. I'm sure we're going to relocate. I was just chatting about these genets, and there we go. One hopped out. Come on, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Playing hide and seek here. Come on, you little bugger. Guys, I'm not making up stories here. I do promise you I did see a genet. What I might do is just turn around in front here and we'll just loop past here once more, often a different angle, different perspective. You can see them. Just going to turn around right in front here. Alrighty, so I'm looking in the tree as well. They are very good climbers. They often do a lot of their hunting at the night time in the trees, going from nest to nest. Let me just quickly have a look around here. Actually just take this turn here. I'm quite adamant to try and find you guys this, just because it is a highly nocturnal creature and you don't get to see them all that often. Come on, show yourself. Nice big marula tree there. Alrighty guys, it looks like that genet, it looked like a small spotted genet to me, got the best of us. There's an eye, there's an eye, last little look here. That is not an eye, that is a reflector. Alrighty guys, so I'm actually gonna say goodnight and say thank you very much for tuning into Wild Earth and spending this beautiful sunset drive with us. From here we're going to give back to James, but once again my name's Christopher Skuman and it's been, oh, and Mr. Thumb, do not forget about the Thumb himself. I don't know, did you fork anything today, Thumb? Nah, sad day for you. Everything else, the lions and everything is getting some meal, fork's not getting. We'll see what Mr. Thumb is up to tomorrow, but from my side and the rest of the team, thanks to everybody in Final Controls, and of course a big thank you to Brian over here for all the fantastic film work he's been doing. Guys, until next time, have yourselves a lovely evening. I'm going to say goodnight.
Righty, we have found, David? Nothing. The night time. We have found the night. And the night has been equally as gorgeous as the afternoon was, everybody. Thank you for being nice to Christopher today. Well, he'll tell me if you weren't, but I think it sounds like you were very nice to him. And like I said at the beginning of the drive, please fret not. There's been a mass panic in the Twitterverse that Brent and Jamie have forsaken us and they've gone off to start a safari company. This is not the truth. They are coming back on Wednesday next, so please don't panic. They will be back. Christopher is not here to replace them. They have not indicated any desire to leave. They have not given any indication that they would ever want to leave. So please do not worry. They will be back. Not so, Dave.
Yes.
Exactly. Hello, Dina. I'm afraid the answer to your question is particularly unentertaining. You say, do you get more than one kind of chameleon here? No. We only get the flap-necked chameleon, I'm afraid, Dina. There are quite a few in South Africa, but in the Lowveld here, the flapped-necked variety is the only one that we get. If you really want to see lots of different kinds of chameleons, apparently Madagascar is the place to go. Lots of different kinds of chameleons there. And then there are some horned chameleons, I think, down in the Cape. I know very little about chameleons, but the only one we get here is the flap-necked chameleon, so named because it has a flap on its neck. Yes, correct. I think it's the flap at the back. from which it gets its name, sort of like an armor plate to protect its neck from things that might want to bite it, like a tree snake, for example. Dina, I'm really sorry I couldn't give you a slightly more entertaining explanation of the chameleons. At the moment we don't get any chameleons whatsoever. I've been scouring the bushes for them. But David and I have thus far failed to find any. Haven't we, David? Very poor show on our part. Well, we shall keep soldiering on for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Just 2 minutes, David. 2 minutes to find a chameleon. I've certainly been assailed by a number of insecta tonight. One of them flew into my right eye and made me... Well, I did actually say a bad word, I'm afraid. I do apologise. Luckily, we weren't live. David thought it was very funny, my pain and suffering. But it was very sore, David. That's why I said the bad word. I'm sorry. Yes, good. Excellent. We're just doing one last pass past the front of where we live, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And there's the sign. There we are. And there it is. See, Djuma Research Camp. A great deal of research going on there at the moment. We had some wonderful sightings around here of lions and leopards and hyenas and all sorts coming past the camp, and that's what the great joy of living out here is, that we have this incredible amount of activity at home. Right, I'm going to position myself, David, so that we might give our viewers a final look at this magnificent sky, while I bid everybody a fond farewell. Thank you, everyone, for coming on Drive with us today. It was lovely to have you with us. From David and myself, we say a fond farewell. And from Kirsten and Christopher and Brian and Louise Pavid, all involved in the show today, thank you very much to all of them. We will see you tomorrow, of course, at 0500 until 8 o'clock.